Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and we are in a session which I was particularly looking for because Muhammad Yunus is one of the people. I have met so many people in my life, and he's one of the most admired people I ever met in my life. And actually, we know each other since more than 25 years, a quarter of a century. And he also, I came across his fight and his engagement for social entrepreneurship when I learned about some microcredits, which he, with the Grameen Bank, had so much not only invented but promoted. And I asked myself, why is this idea not better known and replicated much faster in the world? I mean, it's a simple idea having great influence on millions of people. And so he animated my wife and myself to create what is the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship, where we try to make sure that new ideas of social innovation are replicated as much as possible and as fast as possible in the world. So that's the history. But he has, Muhammad Yunus has influenced certainly the lives of millions of people. But we are talking today not to him, not in his capacity as social entrepreneur, but as the chief advisor to the government of Bangladesh. And it's only 5.5 months ago that we have seen the uphill. And Dr. Yunus is now confronted with the formidable task to transform a, how should we call it, dystopian country into a democracy, to bring to the country inclusion and so on. It's a deeply reformative process. But let's hear from you.
Thank you.
What is the challenge to transform a country which has lived for so many years under a kind of dictatorship, now to bring it up to the values you cherish for the future of the country?
Well, thank you very much, Klaus. While you're listening to Klaus, you realize how deep a friend he is, because as a friend, he can exaggerate about me. So his extent of exaggeration tells you how deeply our friendship goes. And I'm very happy that I met him years back. At that time, people didn't pay any attention what I do. And somehow he liked the idea. And Davos is not supposed to be my place. I thought I'm somewhere outside of the purview of the discussions that take place in Davos. But he extended his attention to me and invited me to be here, to speak in the sessions. And the idea of social entrepreneurship came. He liked the idea. He created the foundation. And Hilde was the chair. I was in the board. Excited about it, that can get attention from Davos, from the World Economic Forum. And that word became known to the world. As a result, the notion, the concept, and the actions became something that you talk about and something that you want to get involved with.
And that's what the Nobel Prize.
You got the Nobel Prize. Thank you. So that the relationship came not because any personal acquaintance with each other, just the liking of the ideas and the actions that I'm representing, and that brings to the kind of mainstream discussion point, and people became interested in our work. While I'm still doing that, something happened in Bangladesh that I got involved with. Not that I was in any way planning or any way kind of ready for such thing, but circumstances led it that way. There's a student demonstration going on in Bangladesh in July this year. Basically, issue was a very simple issue. They are looking for job opportunities, equal opportunities for jobs, no kind of reservations for some category of people and others. That was the theme for their demonstration. But it's escalated into a situation where it's a confrontation between the government and the students became very sharp, and government started shooting at the young people. That changed the whole thing. And students took it as a challenge that they want to stand up against. They offered themselves in front of the guns, took bullets, and they will not still leave the demonstration, will not leave the street. That's when it became unstoppable. Young people leaving home in the morning, going to the demonstration, started saying goodbye to each other, that we may not come back. That's the kind of situation that emerged. They're going to the battlefield. Both of them may not come back, one of them may not come back, and each one instructing what they should do to each other, family. And when the shooting goes on, the students don't leave the street. Simply, who are shot, they fall, and the rest come forward. And it went on for several days. And then they declared that this government must go. We cannot deal with this government anymore, tolerate this government anymore. It's kind of a tidal wave of people and students coming from all directions to this Dhaka city. While these demonstrations were going on, another interesting thing happening. You have walls around the streets as you go around. Sudden spark came, the students start painting things on the walls. The whole Dhaka city filled with all the street arts all over the city, expressing their desire, their expressions, and their ambitions, and their dreams. Most interesting part of the whole thing, there was no planning. Nobody was planning anything. It's spontaneous of extreme form. There's no leadership. Usually when you have a student movement or any movement, there's a leader, there's a sub-leader, they have instructions. There are no instructions. On the day when one of them got shot, and it was all over the television, then being shot, and he's falling, and his friends holding him, the whole country changed completely. Now this time it's not only the young people coming forward, their parents started coming because they cannot stop their young people inside the home. They're going, so since they cannot stop, the parents started going with them. So it became a people's movement, joining with everybody. So hundreds of thousands of people moving into the direction of the residence of the Prime Minister. Everybody came to the conclusion it would be impossible to save her unless she has been lifted and sent someplace else. And that's what happened on 5th of August. It's a unique experience. That's why I was trying to give you a little explanation. You hear about revolutions, you hear about uprisings, rebellions. This doesn't fit into any one of them. It's a very unique way it happened. And the uniqueness comes from the way young people responded to a situation that was happening in Bangladesh. Defying the government, which could not be brought down by any means because the election didn't work. We had 3 elections in this 15 years of the regime that ruled the country. All fake elections. Nobody voted. But she got elected herself as they wish. So it's a single person regime which commanded everything. And that's what made all the people and the students furious. And spontaneously, they responded to the situation. When the prime minister fled, government fell, they don't know what to do with it. They had no plan. What do you do? So they are kind of wondering what this should be the next. Everybody said, we need a government. So how do we do the government? So they are looking forward to each other, but how to do a government? So one of the idea that I should be invited. I was not in the country at that time. I was in Paris, involved with the Paris Olympic, because another one of my pet subjects, social business. Yeah. I was designing Paris Olympic as a social business. It's called Social Olympic. So lots of ingredients of ideas that I had integrated into that Olympic. So I was very busy with that, seeing how it resulted after months of planning. I was in Paris. Somebody called me up from home, and I was watching the development in Bangladesh and feeling very strongly about what is happening. So they invited me to come and form a government. What is that?
No.
So my first response was, no, sorry, thank you. But they will not give up. And finally, I said, take time, find it, see people around. I'm sure you'll find lots of options for you. And we agreed on 24 hours, next 24 hours that they will try, but if they can't find, they will come back to me. They called me back again 24 hours later. No, we didn't find any options, so you are the one. So that's how I got involved with it. That's why I'm here. So that I thought I'll give you the background, why I'm here, why I did.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.